Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the second segment of Youth Matters. In today's show, we are looking at the topic and discussing bullying and the impact that it's having on our community and what's actually being done about it and how it's making our young people feel and what needs to be done. আজকের এপিসোডের মাঝে আমরা বুলিংর টপিক লিয়া মাথাত আছি আর এখানে কত আমরা ইয়াং ভাই বোন আসইন বড় থাইনো আসইন মানুষের দুঃখ দেন কথা হইন যে জিনিসের দুঃখ দিব কষ্ট দিব একটা খেনে হয় আর আমরা কমিউনিটি হিসাবে আমরা ইনাফ করাননি সো আপনারা প্লিজ শরিক হইবা ফোন করবা ফোন করিয়া ইনভলভ হোক ডিসকাশন আমরা হোক আপনারা কিতাব বুঝেন এগ্রি করেননি আমরা গেস্ট টাইমতে কিতা হইরা আরও কিতা করা যায় যে একটারে মানে সাহায্য করবো সিচুয়েশনরে সলভ করা যাইব আপনারা প্লিজ করাইবা সো অ্যাজ অলওয়েজ we want to hear from you at home. If you're a young person watching this, how has bullying affected you? Has it affected you? What about those around you? Even adults, tell us about bullying incidents or experiences that you might have had, and what did you do? Because no doubt there are a lot of people, as we speak, who are suffering from the consequences of experiencing bullying. Yunus, welcome on the show. Yunus, you're currently at college. Okay, so you can provide us with a good perspective on that. Thank you. Adil, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Adil, you're also a college student, okay, and you can provide us with a perspective on that. And I look forward to listening to your views on that. And Kamran, assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show. Okay, and Kamran, you're also a student at college.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we've got 3 college students with us, and I think it'll be really interesting to hear your views because on the last segment we had one person from university and one person who was at school. Now, Yunus, I'll start with you. Okay, before we went on break, we spoke about the challenges we're finding where you've got people who are recording actual cases of bullying taking place. Well, how does that make you feel when you watch something like that?
It's just sad, because it's quite rampant among the Asian community, and it's quite saddening to know that we're one community. We should have a brotherhood and sisterhood.
Yeah.
But people record each other, they shame each other, they humiliate each other. It's just saddening to me.
Yeah. Now, Adil, do you think it's on the rise? Do you think bullying, despite all the things that are being done to tackle this issue, do you think it's happening more often, or is it on the rise in your opinion?
I think it's happening more often now because of the impact of social media. It can be spread around so easily, and it happens so often nowadays, like 2-3 times a week. There's a new clip or a new picture or someone else getting bullied, and it's a lot worse now because everyone can reach it and see what's going on.
Sure. Kamran, why is this happening? What's causing people to actually do such a crime where they're now doing it publicly?
I think it all comes down to maybe people feeling maybe they have a sense of superiority. They want to feel good about themselves. Maybe they think, it's in the trend nowadays, so they think it's okay maybe to bully or maybe to have a joke at someone. What they seem is a joke. So I think that it comes down to that.
Now, Yunus, say for example, in some of the videos that's gone viral, and people in the community have seen this. You have normally you have one person or 2 people who are the perpetrators in the actual act itself, but then you've got other people there as well, including the person who's actually recording. So how would you judge in terms of who's really to blame? Is it the people who are just looking on? Can they take the same blame as the person who's actually doing it?
Yeah, so I think that the person who's recording should have the same level of blame as the person who's actually doing the bullying, because they're not actually helping stop it, they're promoting it. They're showing people that this is alright, we can take videos of this, we can spread it, it's fine. And that's the wrong message to get across to our youth.
Yeah, and Adil, but someone might say, look, I was just standing there and it happened and I actually didn't get involved myself. So,
But
I'm not doing the crime.
Not stopping it is just as bad as doing it, because you could just as easily help the person with probably less effort than you are taking to record the video and send it to other people.
Kamran, what does it say about a person who actually is seeing such injustice, oppression being done in front of them? And we know the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, the oppressor and the oppressed, we know that hadith, and help them both.
Yeah.
And then when obviously the companion said, but I can understand helping the person who's being oppressed, but what about the oppressor? And the Prophet ﷺ said, help them by making sure that they don't do it.
Yes.
So why, the people who are watching on, okay, what, why do they not do anything? Why do they feel it's okay for them to be part of that process?
I think it maybe comes down to if someone maybe was just they're standing along the road and they saw it. I think it's maybe because they're scared, maybe, or maybe it comes down to their actual Islamic etiquettes. Like, Islam teaches us to forbid evil and enjoin good. I think it comes down to that people don't maybe have not enough education on the matter, and maybe they're not willing enough, they don't have enough courage, stand up against stuff.
Yeah, and so it is quite when you watch something like that where you've got other people there and they're seeing wrong done in front of them and they're not doing anything. Kamran speaks about lack of education. What would you agree? Would you say there's other reasons as to why they're actually not intervening?
Yeah, I'd say education plays a large part both in national curriculum as well as the Islamic side. So in the Quran it says, really the believers are brothers.
Yeah.
So we should have a brotherhood. Also it says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم. So everyone who believes, don't ridicule each other. So we get direct commands from the Quran, from our Islamic heritage, to not bully each other. So we should have that. But also I think it also plays a social role. It's not just education. People they just feel it's a bad thing to have, but they just feel good doing it. And it's an unfortunate state of events.
Now, Adil, when it comes down to the act that happens and stuff like that, why is it that there are many people who confuse it and they might argue that it's banter, it's not bullying?
It's banter up to a certain point where the person that you're joking to, they actually start getting hurt by the feelings. It's banter when it's someone with one of your friends, that to a certain point they won't take it to heart, they won't actually be hurt. But if you can tell someone's getting hurt by it, it's no longer banter, it's just full-on bullying.
Sure.
And you're just destroying that person's life.
Sure. Now, Kamran, tell me this, because in a circle of friends, okay, how do you spot when someone's actually had enough and they're actually hurting? Because obviously you don't want to come across to your friends and you don't want to show that you're actually, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Amongst friends, you don't want to show them your weakness that, this is affecting me. So what's your view on that,
I guess it all comes down to logic. I mean, you can't, it's like, for an example, you can't say something about someone else's mum and not expect them to get hurt about it. And it comes down to logic that when something's a joke and how far you can take it.
Sure. Now, Yunus, it might not be, about someone's mum. It might be about that some person, that person that they're actually directing it towards. Now, have you experienced cases of bullying where within your friendship circle people are making jokes and they're saying things and it's actually hurting someone else, but maybe the person doing it, the friend, they can't actually see it?
Yeah, so people always try to hide their feelings outwards,
but
on the inside they feel hurt. When they go home they're upset, they might cry, lock themselves in the room. It's quite hard to spot actually, but I think it's actually with the parents as well. They should spot this, tell teachers, let the teachers know, let your friends know that, there's limits to where you should take your level of banter.
Sure. So, Adil, what would you say are some of the signs of bullying?
Someone who kind of stays hidden from just talking to other people. And another thing that I've seen, when someone that's getting bullied, they usually, when the person that's bullying them might say, oh, it's just a joke. The person that's getting bullied is actually so scared, they will actually agree with them. They say, yeah, it's just a joke.
They might laugh it off.
Yeah, but you can tell in the way they say it, the way they act, that they're really hurting inside.
Yeah, Kamran, that's really interesting. What are some of the other signs? Because I think what we want to do is educate our community. There might be young brothers and sisters watching this. We're at school, they're probably thinking, no, that's actually them having fun. But, from your experience, what are some of the signs that they can see where they might think, actually, I've seen that and I thought it was banter?
I guess someone may be feeling being quiet all the time, suddenly being quiet. You can see sometimes in the facial expressions that they're scared of something, or even maybe the way they act. Maybe they agree with a certain joke, but inside they're feeling quite hurt.
Yeah, Yunus, would you say there's any other signs other than Kamran spoke about body language, okay? And then obviously Adil spoke about sometimes trying to cover it up and joke, laugh along with what's being said.
So these are total signs, but also it's like eating disorders. So you eat a lot or eat less at home, you're just a different person to the person you used to be.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So Adil, have you, we want to support our parents as well, because sometimes it's very hard for young people to go and speak to their parents. Why do you think that is?
I think because they don't want
Before you answer that, sorry, we've got a caller on the line. Can I come back to you? Okay. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Sister, how would you like to contribute to the discussion?
I just want to basically just quickly talk about the recent, what sparked this bullying incident up for me was because, those recent videos that was going around, and I feel that's kind of woken our community up a little bit more. But as a parent, I would like to know that everyone's out there just kind of sending off a message that bullies should be hated. But I think somewhere along the line, I think we need to get out there and just help the bullies themselves and find out why they're doing it and how we as a community can stop it, as well as help them. And also the victims, how we can make them come out. Because I feel like it's not enough. Because, if I was to ask my children, do you get bullied? They'll just kind of smile it off. And I'm sure somewhere along the line, someone calls them names, and however light it might be, it's all a form of bullying for me. But I just want to know is how as a committee, yes, it's fair that we sit and talk about it, but how do we actively go out there and stop it? Because I just feel like there's not enough being done about it. Because those social media videos that was going around, it actually disturbed me so much that I couldn't sleep at night. So I just feel like, how do we as a community actively go out there and do something? If you can just kind of help on that.
Thank you, sister, for that brilliant call. Jazakumullah khair. So I think it goes nicely with the question that I was asking you. Why is it that some students or children don't speak to their parents about these things?
Because I think they might feel that when it comes in front of their family or their parents, kind of makes them look kind of weak and kind of low.
Sure.
So they want to keep it within themselves. They don't want to show that they're a bit vulnerable. And sometimes parents might not understand, like recently with the case, I think up in Bradford, it was like an 11-year-old. I think he could tell he tried to tell his mum, but she couldn't really understand what was going on.
Okay, thank you. We've got another caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Wa alaikum salam. Leading on from your previous caller about bullies communicating this or victims communicating this, I think within the Asian community there is a big culture of sort of parents distancing themselves from their children. There's this barrier almost, if you like. And I think in a way they don't take the advice of the pious predecessors. For example, I think it was Umar ibn Khattab, he said something like, play with them for 7, teach them for 7, and be their friend for 7, something along those lines. And we find, for example, if we look to the seerah, we find that the little companions, they really used to want to be around their fathers and their fathers' friends and things like that. And we find that in this generation, we have to keep a certain barrier. And when, for example, people are being bullied, they can't express themselves, or the victims, when they are being bullied, I think they don't have the courage to go and tell their parents this. But I think this is a cultural thing that we need to relook at as a community also.
Okay, thank you. Jazakumullah khair, brother, for those really key points. Cameron, Adil spoke about, and we've had the callers say the same thing as well. Do you feel lack of communication with parents, our parents not being there, could be a reason why someone resorts to bullying? Could it be that lack of role model at home could instigate someone to actually bully others?
I think in my case, I think parents are always there for us, but it's just about the people, the children going up to their parents. I think there's that lack of courage, lack of confidence. They maybe not feel that, they might not, feel a bit shy going up to their parents. They might feel that if they do tell their parents might go to the school, and that might even create more problems in the school. Sure. In regards to bullying.
Sure. Okay. Yunus, Kamran, mentions a few key things there about why students don't go. What do you think, as a young person yourself, what could our parents be doing more? Because what we want to do is bridge that gap. We cannot have, moving forward, we need to challenge that. And I think the caller said this as well. How can we bridge that gap so that there's clear, effective, there's communication there, so our young people can go to their parents and speak to them?
I think that, especially in the Asian community, there's that divide between parents. So the only time the children go to their parents is for grades, is something to do with schoolwork, something like that. But we need our parents to have more of a friendly relationship between us. So just as we can go to friends for advice, just for a chat, we should be able to go to our parents like that.
Adil, I know your parents are probably watching this, okay, so I'm putting you on the spot. But do you feel that if you were ever bullied, and I'm not going to ask you to share this with us, but do you feel that you have that relationship with your parents where you could go, or are there other factors that might stop you from going to them, such as the ones that were mentioned, reasons?
I think at this point probably yes, because I've matured, but I know for a fact when I was younger, probably at the start of secondary school, I would never have gone to my parents or anyone in my family. 'Cause
Okay.
I think I also distinctly remember being told that bullying, sometimes people say it's like it's just something that's going to happen. It's a part of life. Sometimes people say that.
Okay.
But there has to be someone, if everyone thinks like that, someone has to break the cycle and
Sure.
it has to stop.
Thank you. Okay, we'll touch upon that. We've got another caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother, how would you like to contribute to the discussion?
I'd just like to make a quick point. I think that bullies, yeah, they're being dealt with, but like sometimes the only reason that they're bullying is because they think that they got nothing better to do. So, like, if they were to be like occupied in their time and not be outside and like wasting their time, so then the only thing that they revert to is bullying. So
Yeah.
they've got nothing else better to do. And I think that the community should stand up and find these bullies and deal with them, whether it's however it is. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, thank you for your points, brother. Cameron, I think we need to speak about, because these bullies, these young bullies, let's speak about young bullies, they're also, young people in our community. And surely we have a responsibility to try and help them as well. Why do you think people resort to bullying?
I think it go back to the call. I mean, it might be that street mentality. They may think that, oh, if I bully, I might seem like I'm a better person. I might seem more worthy of being on the street. Something like initiation maybe. It might be like, oh,
Okay.
if you're in a certain group, they might tell you, okay, go do this to this person, and you can maybe stay with us. Something like that.
Yeah. Yunus, is there any other reasons why someone might resort to bullying, say, other than street cred?
There's many reasons for bullying. One of the actual reasons for bullying is like a divide at home. So it's actually like, so if you have abusive parenting, so you have nowhere else to go, so those children, they abuse people at
So
school.
they
And
model
then
what they see at home,
yeah, so
according
it's
to
a
you.
constant chain, and it's very bad in the community.
Okay. It's obviously a very difficult topic to speak about. Do you think it just takes place at school?
Oh no, I think it takes place everywhere. If it happens in school, then it most likely will happen in every aspect of the child's life. Because if the child is too scared to speak about it, whenever it happens again, he won't do anything about it, and he'll just keep carrying on, and it will spread out of school.
Sure. Cameron, do you think, Adil speaks about the fact that it can escalate onto, other parts of a person's life. But do you think, say for example, other than in school, is there any other situations where someone might experience bullying?
I mean, it could also happen maybe in the workplace.
Yeah.
It can happen maybe in your local area. It can happen anywhere, really, anywhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's, from what Cameron's saying, it's quite worrying, because sometimes our parents might think, watching this, that it's just at school. So as long as they don't get bullied at school, my child is okay. So that's quite concerning. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree, because anywhere actually where there's a social setting, bullying can take place. There's a possibility that your son, your daughter might be being bullied by anyone else. It could be anyone actually.
Sure. Now, Adil, over the years, obviously, with the expansion of the internet and becoming very common practice for everyone to be using it, how would you define cyberbullying?
Cyberbullying, I would say, is when you're on a social media platform, so Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it is, when someone's attacking you on there, maybe through one of your posts or your photos, and someone who you don't actually know face to face, you probably never met face to face, and they'll be attacking you on there even though they don't know who you are, just for fun.
Okay. Cameron, Adil gives quite a comprehensive overview of what the definition means. Have you experienced it yourself, or do you know about people who might have experienced cyberbullying online?
I've never experienced it myself, but I know plenty of people who, even through school, if they don't find a place to bully in school, it kind of like transfers outside of school on the internet. So there's been cases of that as well.
Yeah. Now, Yunus, it's as parents, we want to give our children the best tools to learn, and obviously parents are investing in laptops, in smartphones, in computers to try and give our children the best tools. Now, how do we, as a parent, for example, how do you think, parents can help tackle that? Because you have that perspective, you've got that, first-hand experience as a student and knowing this, like Cameron. What do you think our parents should be doing?
So at home, there should be obviously like safety guidelines, parental guidance. There should be levels so the parents know what your children are up to. Obviously, they're not going to spy on you, but they need to know that you're not getting into the wrong conversations, you're not being bullied, or you're not bullying anyone else. Yes.
Okay. Now, Adil, how does online bullying look like? So you spoke about on Snapchat, be more specific. So our parents watching at home, our young brothers and sisters, because once again, it's almost masked online. Okay, from what Cameron's saying, it seems as though it's very masked online. So what should they look out for?
So I think now there's always pictures and videos being posted of the person, maybe making fun of them, or a picture of them, someone's edited it to make it look fun of them, something like that. And that happens usually quite a lot nowadays. Probably the most popular way to make fun of someone.
Yeah. Cameron, do you think, someone... So it's a tough one here, because where do we draw the line between friends just having fun and recording something, okay, and uploading it, and it actually then becoming a form of bullying?
I think that's quite important because, once you put something online, that's it, it's there forever. There's no way of deleting it or changing it, especially now. So I think maybe getting the person's consent before uploading it.
Yeah.
That sometimes you upload something without someone's permission, and that can really affect someone in the future.
True, but say for example someone uploads something on YouTube. Okay, say if you see it and you actually don't like what you're looking at, are there ways from your knowledge where you can report it?
Yeah, so obviously, if
and
it's
Facebook and other social media platforms.
Yeah, so there's ways to report to like the authorities or the people in charge.
Sure.
Like things you don't like, posts that you want removed, things like that.
So there's
possibilities for people to get help from things like this.
Yeah, some Orthodox people might turn around and say, technology, we should maybe look at banning technology, because technology seems to be creating this. Do you feel without technology it would be as prominent as it is today?
I think without technology it would probably still be as bad, because the energy that they exert onto all these social media platforms, they'll just find more time to do that in school, maybe even after school, where it could have more of a chance of leading to physical violence and whatnot.
Okay, now according to the Do Something website, it talks about how 160,000 students skip school because of bullying each year. Okay, do you see a lot of students missing school because of that? Have you come across, or do you know of students who have missed school?
And do you know students who have missed school just because of bullying? I know it's quite bad, because they're missing out on their education, which has an impact on their future, what jobs they get, overall their whole life, and just because of this bullying, it's having impact on the rest of their life.
Yeah. Now, Yunus, one of the there's different types of bullying. Okay, you've got verbal, you've got social, you've got physical, you've got cyberbullying. In terms of verbal bullying, give me, people might be watching at home thinking, how would I spot verbal bullying? So how would you define verbal bullying? Give me examples.
Well, I'd say verbal bullying is anything that you say to somebody else through words that's going to hurt their feelings.
Okay.
It's quite a simple definition, and it could be prevalent anyway.
Okay, and give me an example of something someone might say. So this is quite a tough question, because how would you, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but something that some people might think is actually banter, but is in fact verbal bullying.
So if you're in like a group of friends and you like fat shame someone,
okay,
so you might think it's a bit of a joke, but on the inside that might actually get hurt by it.
Okay, so if they say,
so like, Ustad, you're very fat.
Okay, so you're you're making a comment about their physical appearance,
yes.
Yeah? Okay, and you say that, okay, and making it very personalized to that person. Adil, in terms of social, so tell me an example of how socially bullying might take place.
So again, on social media, if someone's done maybe something embarrassing in school, or something's happened to them, like someone will instantly, there's most likely going to be one person taking a picture, recording it, and they will instantly, without even asking the person, they'll upload it, and it's gone, and then that will be gone. Everyone, it's just, there's nothing no one can really do about it after it's been uploaded, because everyone sees it very quickly.
And come back to social again, Cameron, socially in a setting of friends or any other setting, that's where it takes place normally, doesn't it? Social bullying. And in terms of, what we spoke about, responsibility and us making sure we do our own, we make sure we intervene. Are there any other social settings? Do you think it's just at school with friends?
I think maybe it can happen even within families,
Yeah.
Some, brother, sister, brother, they start saying stuff about them, and that can hurt their feelings. And family fights, or often family breakups often start like that.
Yeah, Kamran touches upon this, and I guess this is why we're discussing it, because obviously with physical, it's quite obvious when someone's physically hurting someone. Okay, where else might we see bullying? Because is it just amongst young people?
It's not amongst, it's amongst everyone. So youth, elderly people, it actually can be anywhere. Even at the workplace, between work peers, anyone who sees themselves as superior to somebody they feel is inferior.
Okay, and Adil, any other situations? Because obviously it's not just limited to young people. There might be parents. Would you, have you seen, or can you comment on any other types, any other age groups or any other situations where bullying takes place?
I think sometimes it's so hidden, some people don't really notice it, but even the simple things where maybe just taking the mick out of someone, even with older people, and they make jokes about someone else, that person they don't want to feel embarrassed to say they're hurt by it.
Okay.
So bullying can be quite hidden.
Okay,
it can happen anywhere.
That's a really good point. Okay, we've got a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sister. How would you like to contribute?
I would just like to clarify about a question. It's what does Islam say about bullying?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, sister. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a break. So we'll come back and we'll answer that question, sister. So in our last segment, what we will be discussing is solutions. So we'll be looking at, we've had a lot of discussion about the impact of bullying and how it impacts people and who it impacts. What we want to look at is solutions. And I'd love to hear from our audience watching at home, our young brothers and sisters, our parents, what can be done, what should be done in your opinion, what isn't being done. Okay, ইনশাআল্লাহ আমরা ব্রেকও যাইমু ব্রেক বাদে আমরা আপনারা কাছে জানতাম চাইলাম আপনারা কিতাব বুঝেন কিলা এই প্রবলেম বুলিং আর আমরা নিকরা ট্যাকল করতাম পারমু কমিউনিটি হিসাবে ওকে সো আপনারা আমরা লগে থাকবা join us for the last segment. Assalamu alaikum.